Hello, this is Dr. Kia Pruitt. Check in, family. What is today? It is Tuesday evening, I believe. Tuesday evening, December the 23rd, 2025. And the time is 7:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was out shopping for my granddaughter because she's growing up. And I heard some news. And of course, I've been paying attention to some of the things that's happening on the news. So I thought I'd come and do a report because it's happening. So much is going on, family. Come on in, check in the room. Let us know who you are, where you're hailing from. We're just going to relax and give this report. I'll try not to be long tonight because I know, tomorrow, Christmas Eve, for those of you who celebrate, and Christmas will be in 2 days. So come on in, check in. Welcome. A lot is happening. It is happening. Like so much was happening with precious metals that I couldn't keep up. So come on, I see 154 people in the chat. Come on in. Hello from New Zealand. Hi, New Zealand. Florida's in the house. Louisiana, Texas. All right, what's happening? I'm going to tell you. Delaware's in the house. Georgia, come in. Check in, family. Keep going. Come on in. God bless you as well, family. I see more Georgians in the house. Ohio, my home state where I was from. I know. Oh, silver is past $71. But we're going to talk about that. Come in, family. Check in. Cleveland, Ohio. That's where I was born and raised. Hi, New Jersey. Hi, Nevada. Rhode Island's in the house. Welcome. Virginia's here. Keep checking in, family. Oh, I love this. Puerto Rico. My granddaughter's Puerto Rican. Louisville, Kentucky. Hey, that's where I raised my children. Hello, Sister Elizabeth. West Palm Beach, Florida, my home state now. Currently, I'm in Florida. I'm in Jacksonville, Bethlehem, Georgia, Detroit, Vegas, Atlanta. The ATL's in the house. New York City. Look at that. St. Petersburg, Florida. England's in the house. Arizona's here. Come on in, family. Texas, more Texans. Charlotte, North Carolina. We're at 206 people. Come in, family. Oh, I'm so glad. Louisiana's in the house. Michigan, Virginia, Columbus, Georgia. What's up? Oh, I got some stuff to tell you. We've been saying things are going to happen, and we've been bringing people in to talk about this. Hi, California and Mount Vernon, Kentucky. I see you, North Carolina. I see you, England. And we've even brought people on that say it's going to happen, where Trump is going to really set a precedent when it comes to immigration. And I was like, oh, that's a little aggressive, but Lord, it's happening. Come on in, Brooklyn. I see you. Hello. Alabama, South Carolina. You're watching from Ohio. I see 232 people in the chat. North Kakalaki's here. Las Vegas, sending love. Hey, Las Vegas is going to be on the rise. I've heard that's where the new United States Treasury Department is going to be. I've been hearing that for the last 8 years. Also, a lot of those casinos that were in Nevada were owned actually by many Saudi princes and other billionaires that was using those places to launder money, do a lot of trafficking underground under those tunnels. And since the United States has ended their relationship with Saudi Arabia and no longer protecting the princes that were buying up land in Nevada and elsewhere, all of those casinos are either going to be closed or they're going to be bought out. And remember, in Nevada, they would say whatever goes on there, whatever goes on there stays there, right? It was Sin City. In Las Vegas, Nevada, prostitution was legal, a lot of trafficking going on. Pay attention to Nevada, because that desert land will now, it will change. All the nefarious activity will be closed. The pornography, the doing things with children, the things that women were doing for money, all that's going to stop. The casinos, again, a lot of them going to close. And the ones that are open will be open for other things. So another thing that's going to happen in Nevada is the mines are about to open up. My son is trying to come. The mines that were there, the silver and gold mines, are going to open back up. So you guys are going to flourish in Nevada, all over the country and all over the world. Also, you're going to see lakes spring up in Nevada, California, that whole western area, Texas even, that had been considered a drought area. All that, the water had been held back purposely and intentionally. The water is going to be released to now you know what? That might be why there's some flooding going on in California. The water had been dammed and held back. from the people to keep it a desert, but that's not natural in that California, in the whole western area, in Nevada, all that area, New Mexico. Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate it. I love hot chocolate with peppermint. Somebody just put mint is one of my favorite things. Thank you, somebody, for that gift. But all that's going to change. I just want to say that in Nevada, you're going to see lakes and rivers spring up there. That whole western hemisphere, the western part of the country, including Nevada, and grocery stores and businesses are going to come back. And when those silver and gold mines and those rare earth mineral mines open up, you guys are going to be extremely wealthy. So thank you for checking in from Nevada. Greetings to you too. Hello, Venezuela's in the house. All right, we have 366 people in the chat. I'm going to keep talking. Come on in. A lot is going on. Greetings to you too. Silver to the moon. I know we're here. Hopi prediction. Somebody put the Hopi prediction there. So let's get on with the talk for today. Thank you all. And thank you all for those of you who sent me a Cash App earlier. Cash $ Mama Kia 13, MAMAKIA 13. But let me talk to y'all about what's going on before I go back in the store and do some more shopping for my granddaughter. She is growing up. Hi, thank you for the gift. Thank you so much for supporting me. Who is that just sent $20? I can't see your name. Please forgive me. Leisha, thank you so much. I appreciate you. God bless you. Sheila's in the house. So let me tell y'all what's been going on. Y'all, some of you know because you've been paying attention. Silver is actually at $72. It's happening. And they said that silver would go up to $100 by 2026. And when they made the predictions, some of the economists that are actually gold and silver bugs, it sounded a little outlandish. But silver is at $72 per ounce. Gold is at $4,500, $4,525 per ounce. This means that silver and gold have hit all-time record highs, new all-time record highs, family. So if you had silver and gold or you bought it when it was low or cheap, you have made a great return on your investment. Just last week, I went to talk to my local coin dealer about silver and gold and asked them what's happening. They said that so many people were hard pressed for cash because the bills are rising and they couldn't afford a lot of bills, that they were actually selling their silver and gold. Thank you, Terrell, for the Cash App blessing. I appreciate you. They're selling their silver and gold. And what my coin dealer said was, now when they sell it back, we've run out of cash. We have to give them a check. So people are selling their silver. Meanwhile, silver and gold are going up. Now, if you're interested in getting silver and gold, family, it is going to continue to go through the moon. Let me tell you, because in order to pay off the debts here in America alone, gold has to be revalued to $10,000 per ounce, between $10,000 per ounce and $100,000 per ounce. The gold bugs have been saying this for a long time, and economists have been saying this for at least over a decade. And that's when gold was less than $1,000 per ounce. They were saying that. Now we're at $4,500 per ounce. So to pay off the debt, if gold has to be revalued between $10,000 and $100,000 per ounce, it will increase. It will keep going up. Because the basic economic principle is, as the US dollar decreases in value, silver and gold increase in value. So you're going to have the metals that are going up in value because the USD is collapsing. The people that can and are in the know are saying, I'm getting rid of these dollars because they don't hold their value. But silver and gold maintain their value. And it's something that you can pass down to future generations. And it's lawful money according to Article 1, Section 10 of our Constitution for the Republic. I don't know how you feel about it, but I am so excited about the Republic being restored. And I'm going to tell you, as I keep talking, how we know it's being restored. It is happening, family. Go to your local coin dealer if you can. Get you some silver and gold, or silver and gold. If gold at $4,500 per ounce is not in your budget, get some gold backs. Gold backs, that's lawful gold. It's also considered legal tender. Gold backs are it looks like a dollar per se. It's a bill, but it is 24 carats pressed onto a note. And the half note is about $8, worth $8. The one note is about twice that much, like $16. But when I started getting gold backs in 2018, I could buy them for less than $1. Now they're $8. Okay. You can get gold backs for $8. Some of them you can get. Thank you for the Cash App blessing. Thank you so much, Sister Valerie. Some of them you can, like $ Mama Kia 13, MAMAKIA 13. But those can be used right now to buy local goods and services. Gold backs. It's real legal tender. When I first started reporting on gold and silver in 2014, I used to report from my Facebook page. There were only 13 states that had legalized silver and gold as legal tender, and they already had gold backs. But now 46 states in America have legalized and lawfully agreed that silver and gold is money. So what does that mean? That means 46 states in America passed legislation to repeal or remove the state sales tax from the sales of precious metals because it is unlawful to tax money. So when you remove the state sales tax from precious metals as a state, you're saying, I am in agreement with the Constitution for our republic that the only thing that can be used to pay off debt is silver and gold. So the articles that came out by the Sound Money Defense League that stated that states are now reclaiming silver and gold as money said that the remaining states would do so before or by 2026. And I've been reporting about silver and gold for a while, but back then, we didn't see much movement. Well, you have states repealing the state sales taxes from silver and gold, and you have BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and all those nations that joined that coalition to stop trading with the dollar, and now they're trading with their local currencies backed by silver and gold. Then you have the Shanghai Cooperation Organizations, or the Asian nations, that also have stopped trading with the dollar and now using their own local currencies backed by silver and gold. You also have the agreement between the United States Incorporated and Saudi Arabia not continue on. And what made the United States dollar the world reserve currency was the United States Incorporated's agreement with Saudi Arabia to protect the Saudi kingdom in exchange for their oil. And then United States Incorporated would force all nations to get oil from Saudi Arabia, but they must use the dollar. If they used their local currency, it had to be pegged to the dollar. Well, as of 2 years ago, that agreement between the United States Incorporated and Saudi Arabia was not renewed. Okay, that's how you know it was over. But before that contract was not renewed, Saudi Arabia joined BRICS in 2022. A lot of people didn't know it. So what made the United States dollar the world reserve currency and gave the United States Incorporated financial and economic hegemony, meaning they were the powerhouse they were the boss bees that they could be. They were running around being tyrants and bullies. What gave them that power, empowered them to do so, was the United States Incorporated agreement with Saudi Arabia to protect their whole kingdom. And those Saudi princes came here and bought up land. You can find articles that support that. Some of the Saudis ratted on the Saudi princes, saying they're buying up land in America, they're buying up oil in America, they're buying up casinos in America, and they're doing it all over the world. So the United States Incorporated had agreement with the Saudis. That could be why we saw so many so-called Arabs here in America controlling certain industries and putting them in the impoverished neighborhoods like the so-called Black community and running drugs behind the scenes with their gas stations as fronts and their little convenience stores as fronts. And they align with the United States Incorporated and they policy enforcers. That's why you see a lot of police officers in front of these gas stations and some of these Arab ran businesses. I'm just telling you what I know and what I saw. You saw that a lot of police, they would pull up and then hang out at the convenience stores because they were the ones that were running the drugs and they were selling it to some of those gang members in the Black community, and all of them were in cahoots together. And some of the entertainers that were those rappers, some of them were paid to also run drugs and guns and gang members in our local communities. How do I know? What is the biggest name? The biggest drug community in Louisville, Kentucky, where I raised my kids, is called No Limit. Now look up No Limit, what it is, who it was, who runs No Limit, and his affiliation with Louisville, Kentucky, and see why he has a relationship with all the lawyers there and was paying for some funerals and was backing up a lot of stuff that was going on, like the Black Lives Matter movement and Until Freedom and Antifa. I saw stuff with my own eyes. I was reporting from there. You got to be careful. Back then, you really had to be careful. A lot of the entertainers, judges, attorneys, they were all in it together. A lot of the foreigners that's been on our soil, a lot of them were all in it together. A lot of them were gangbangers. A lot of them brought drugs here and they were running drugs here. And a lot of them were trafficking children and women. A lot of the porn industry is trafficked children, trafficked women. Okay, so it looks like to some people Donald Trump is racist, but Donald Trump says he's America first. And you know what? He's getting rid of some of those entities that had come here on our soil and run roughshod. Oh, wait till I tell y'all what's the newest news. So listen, there's going to be some collateral damage. There are going to be some people that's like, I didn't do nothing. But you know what? You're here unlawfully. So what's the latest news that Donald Trump did? He's expanding denaturalization. He's saying you can call yourself an American citizen all day long, but he's stripping people from their naturalization. You know what? I'm sorry that it's hurting a lot of people because you have a lot of people saying he's stripping Americans of their citizenship. No, he's not stripping Americans of their citizenship. See, this is where a lot of people don't have it right because the definition of American are the autogenous original Aboriginal people here in copper colored races found here in America. So you can call yourself American all day long. You can say, I've been naturalized. I've been here 20, 40, 50, 60, 100 years. You're not natural born. You might have been naturalized. And this is what I mean. A lot of people saying like a lot of people going to have to get out of here. And I was like, that sound a little harsh. Like calm down on that. But Donald Trump is not playing. He's not stripping Americans of their naturalization. He's stripping foreign-born people of their naturalization. He said, if you weren't born here, you got to go. He is not playing. And he's taking a lot of this through civil court instead of criminal court. And people said that's really causing a lot of people to be terrorized. A lot of people looking over their shoulders. They're like, look, but I've been here for decades. I kept my nose clean. I did this. It's not about that. It's about the fact that a lot of people were allowed to come here to take the place of the people who were prisoners of war here being the true original Americans. Unbeknownst to them, a lot of people didn't even know it, but they were allowed to come here because the best way to overtake a nation, according to the book by Machiavelli called The Prince, is by sending in colonies. You can do it two ways. You can take over a landmass two ways. You can go to war with a military, or you can go to war by bringing in colonies. Now, if you go to war and you enslave people and make them prisoners of war by bringing in the military, it's expensive. It's costly. Like, I love to read. My mama taught me how to read before I started school. Thank you, Mom. I wasn't allowed to play with toys and baby dolls and all that stuff that the other kids did. I couldn't watch cartoons. My mama said no TV for you. And when she did have one, she had it in her room. And then she said it's too much because I don't want y'all sneaking. So she cut the cord. No TV. You're going to read. We had to read encyclopedias, books, newspaper articles, and write her reaction papers and critical thinking papers before I started school. That meant before I turned 5. So thank you, Mom. And we had to read the Encyclopedia Britannica, the World Atlas, all the dictionary from A to Z. Thank you, Mama. Because now I understand and understand a lot of things. So a lot of people are scared, terrified, looking over their shoulder like, what we gonna do? What we gonna do? Well, one way that the people in power, remember I said the United States Incorporated, they're the ones, their dollar is crashing. Their fiat is crashing. They were group of bloodline families. I've heard people say, you can come on my show and talk, but don't talk about bloodline families. You know why? Because they know that as soon as the Aboriginal copper colored people wake up, we're going to stop letting everybody oppress us and walk over us. And maybe we'll get some sense about ourselves and start governing ourselves wisely and treating everybody with love and respect and do the right thing by our own communities and do the right thing by people. But when we wake up, the good news for everybody else is when we wake up, we don't mistreat everybody like they mistreated us. But when we wake up, we're going to stop calling ourselves thugs and bitches and whores and my nigga. We're going to stop doing that. We're going to stop mistreating each other and say, hey, ho, how you doing? What's up? We're going to stop showing all our body parts. We're going to stop sagging with our pants down. We're going to stop selling crack because we know we were kings and queens and that our parents and our great-great-great-grandparents and our ancestors left us the land to live and thrive off. And if we want to share it with people, that's for us to do and not foreign bloodline people who came here and usurped authority from our republic and incorporated themselves as an unlawful corporation called the United States Incorporated in the state of Delaware in 1871 with the Pope as their head and called themselves a nonprofit religious organization and then created their policy enforcers to enforce all their policy statutes and codes. Oh, yeah, they thought they were going to do this forever, but their time is up. You know why? Because the ancestors have returned. The gods are waking up. The Aboriginal copper-colored people that are the true Americans are waking up and saying, you know what? The Native Americans that said that they were the real Americans, no, my love, you're not the Native Americans. You're the Mongoloids. Even the recent Mexicans aren't the original Mexicans. They're Mongoloids. That's why they all look alike. God bless you. But let's call a spade a spade. Let's keep a buck, as they say in New York. Let's keep it real. People are waking up. And we're saying, you know what? Y'all squatters on the land. That's why you live in teepees. And God bless you. We understand that you had to run away from what happened to you in Asia. And you were allowed to come here to live in peace and in harmony. And some of y'all we married each other. But what you're not going to do is claim our inheritance. What you're not going to do is keep saying you're the real, true American. What you're not going to do is continue with the confusion. And some of them would even tell you they're on the Dawes Roads. They paid $5, like even some Europeans, $5. And that's why they call $5 Indians, because they paid $5 to be on the Dawes Roads to say that they're the Indian. But when you read the history books, it will even tell you that the copper-colored so-called black people, the Negroids, the colors, the African Americans, the Injas, Iganes, the Ninjas, the Nijis, the Moabites, they were the original people here. And some people say, why does it matter? Why does it matter? Why doesn't it matter? Because so it's okay for me to call myself a ninja. It's okay for me to call myself a bitch in the hole. It's okay for me to act like a clown and to steal and kill up my own sisters and brothers. Oh, that's okay. But it's not okay for me to wake up my people and say, wake up, your kings, your queens. That Atlantis was here in Atlanta. That Atlantis was here in America. That every other country that people call great, like Morocco and Egypt and Babylon. Thank you so much. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the Cash App blessing. $ Mama Kia 13. People keep saying, oh, Kia, I want you to align with me, because they know that if they get to come on my show or I come on their show, I'm going to increase their numbers and make them popular. But you know what? No, we got to pause on all that. We're just going to tell the truth right here. I can stand on my own and tell the truth with my soldiers around me, by my side, supporting me. With all the sheiks supporting me by my side. Big Mama is talking right now. Everybody else need to be quiet. Big Mama is speaking right now. Everybody else need to just pause. The soldiers are in the house. The chiefs are in the house. The chiefs on the land are in control. As long as we acting like fools, it's okay. But as soon as I say stand up, wear your feathers up, put your chest out, walk with your head up, know that you're gods in flesh. We're not gods. Yes, you are, as the scriptures wouldn't say it. A God is a creator. You don't want to co-create with the supreme being? You don't want to co-create with source? Sheik Asir, the Duke of Tears, told us last night, or was it the 2 nights before? You can usher in the golden reality. You can usher in a beautiful reality. When's it going to happen? When's Jubilee going to happen? When you wake up and start saying it's here. When you start envisioning it in your mind and walking like it, talking like it, acting like it. That's what gods do. But you know what? The people who incorporated themselves in 1871, their time is up. They have run roughshod long enough. They allow everybody and their mama, daddy, sisters, brothers, uncles, and cousins, and children, and grandmammies and grandpappies to come here and open up businesses, get loans. And I know, because I've talked to them, because I'm a beautiful woman. All you got to do is talk to one of their men and say, hi, in the gas station or whatever. How do y'all come here? They tell stuff to women, and they'll probably tell us to some of the men too. Oh, we get low interest bearing loans or no interest bearing loans, and they allow us to buy certain buildings, and then we can create a business right here in your neighborhood. And then once we have 5 years to pay off if we have a loan, to pay a low interest bearing loan, and then we'll do our 5 years. But then, let's say we didn't pay it off, we'll bring in one of our uncles or our brothers, and then once they get here and they use up their 5 years, then we'll keep bringing people in, keep bringing them in, and we get more money. And by the way, did you know, beautiful lady? Oh, by the way, I hope you let me take you out to dinner. Did you know that we also can buy houses? We don't even have to have a credit score if we're from another country. All we have to do is produce some type of transcript that said we were in college or taking a class in college, and we'll get a no interest or low interest bearing mortgage loan, and we can buy houses. And you know what? If we get the certain type of a degree, let me talk to my Somalian family members that I know that are doing beautifully in Louisville, Kentucky. All we got to do, if we go to medical school before we even graduate, we can buy our mama and daddy a brand new mansion right on 3rd Street, 3rd Avenue in the middle of Louisville, Kentucky. Or we can go in the east end of Louisville and we can build them mansions, and we don't even have to have a mortgage or a credit score. We don't even have to have a job. I'm like, really? No, we don't even have to have a job. Because remember, I was a student counselor, right? Academic counselor. We don't have to have jobs. All we have to do is say we're going to make a lot of money when we graduate from medical school or dental school or nursing school. We're going to make a certain amount. We didn't even completely graduate, but we got a loan to buy a house on the top of the hill. While the rest of you little people in America, y'all got to struggle, get it out the mud. And you know what? We came here with nothing. Oh, they brag. We came here with nothing. We got it out the mud. We came from nothing. And we couldn't even speak the language, but they didn't tell you that they got non-interest bearing loans. They got low interest bearing loans. Oh, I'm on fire today. I know what they did. They had undocumented student offices on the campuses where they got help to learn English, and while in college, while in high school, while in middle school, I've been from the bottom of the school system all the way up to medical school where I recruited students. They couldn't even speak English. They couldn't speak the English. Okay? I'm not mocking you, but I'm Hispanic, so-called. My great-great-grandfather came from Colombia on my mama's side. He married a woman from the Blackfoot tribe here. On my daddy's side, they all full-blooded Cherokee. But they didn't speak the English. We had undocumented student offices where they got scholarships, housing for free, food cards for free, help academic enrichment programs for free, money, dinero, manyan. What else did we used to call it? Scratch. Okay. Dollar bills, y'all. Thank you so much for the cash out blessing. They got all supported. And when you look it up, they could become lawyers and doctors, even at the Ivy League schools. I know what I'm talking about. I even spent time in California. You can go to the Ivy League school. What's it called? Stanford? And become a lawyer in America as an undocumented person. So people can miss me with we're being racist when we say it's not fair to everybody's here living off the inheritance of the people that put their blood, sweat, and tears here. And I'm not even saying, I don't even buy that whole we were slaves, we came from Africa, we built this country. No, we built this country. Our ancestors and some others too. I'm not going to take away from the others that helped build this nation that was even greater than it is today, with blood, sweat, and tears because they sprung from the soil. We weren't no slave. Miss me with, we slaves from Africa. No, the plantation was Big Mama's house. It was the family house and the family farm that we had. So they allowed people to come here and take advantage of us. And again, as the prince wrote in Machiavelli, the easiest way to enslave or colonize a person is to send in colonies. If you send in a military, it costs a lot of money. You got to pay for training. You got to pay for food. You got to pay for weaponry. You have to pay for all type of things. And then they could defect because they really don't have an allegiance to the people that sent them in, especially if they see people looking like them getting killed, or they have a heart and they just don't want to do it, the bloodshed anymore. But the easiest way, according to the Prince and Machiavelli, is to send in colonies. You send in people who are hungry. You send in people that are destitute. You send in people that you decimated through war. You send in people who would have an allegiance to you. You send in who does this sound like? You send in the worst of the worst. You send in their prisoners. You send in their captives. You send in their slaves. You send in their murderers, their rapists, their gang members, like they did in 1492, like they're doing right now from other countries that Trump called third world countries. Okay, you send them in, you give them money, you allow them to vote, you give them food, you give them loans, you give them buildings, you allow them to have gas stations and hotels and their own little malls, and you have let them set their offices up, and now they're the doctors and they're the lawyers and they're the politicians and they're the ones that's running the government, and they're the ones who are the entertainers, and they look like us but they ain't us. They might be brown in the entertainment industry, but they from Jamaica and Haiti and Africa and other places, and Europe even, but they're Africans that work in Europe, but they're not American. Most of them are not American. What is the 1828 definition of American? The copper-colored races discovered by Christopher Columbus and the Europeans, but now applied to Europeans in America. So you can get naturalized as a European, you can get naturalized as an African, you can get naturalized as somebody from another country, but that doesn't make you American. And that's why Trump is going after naturalization. He's expanding denaturalization. So a lot of people are now uncomfortable. And I have a heart. I'm a living, breathing woman. I have a heart. I don't want people just getting kicked out of here. But the ones that are here unlawfully and the ones that are here mistreating anybody here, the children, the women, the original Americans, they have to go. The gangbangers, the drug dealers, the ones that peddled the fentanyl and the drugs that destroyed my family, the heroin. What else was it? The crack cocaine. They got to go. So Trump said, if you weren't born here, you have to go. And he's taking it through civil court. A lot of people are saying he's terrorizing the immigrants. He's stripping Americans of their citizenship. You can't be an American and a citizen. I'll let that sink in. Either you're sovereign or you're not. Either you're American or you're not. And if you aren't American, but you decide to stay here, you still have to live in integrity, and you still have to abide by the original republic. You still have to live by love, truth, freedom, peace, and justice. And if you don't, you're gonna go. Because the truth of the matter is, everybody was allowed to come here and take authority over people who were the true Americans. And it's not fair. It's just not fair. So I don't know who's wearing that Trump mask, but listen, he's not playing. He's also putting a permanent pause on third world countries. Thank you for the Cash App blessing. $ Mama Kia 13. Thank you. He's putting a pause on third world countries. And I don't have a thought either way, but I will say, if you're destitute and you come from nothing and you bring certain ways here, a lot of people that are in survival mode, everybody knows this, they participate in the underground economy. Not everybody, but a lot of people do, because you're in survival mode. But Trump is saying y'all got to go back home. Even though Haiti is going through a lot, he's sending them back home. Even though Cuba is going through, I have Cuban friends that I love and adore. But Trump is saying you have to go back home, even though they're going through so much in Cuba right now. Did you know that they're having rolling blackouts in Cuba right now? That starvation is on the rise right there. In Cuba, homelessness now is unprecedented in Cuba. They cannot survive there. There's a virus that is running through Cuba that my friend just told me about. It was so bad that the airports were closed down in Havana. But Trump is even sending Cubans back, even with the homelessness and the viruses and no food. And he's saying, but that's your home. And other people are saying, it's not fair. Why you send them back? Because it's their governments. Their governments need to start taking care of their people. If we continue to open up our borders, then the resources that are on the land will stop being used. It would just go to everybody else. Now, the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof is what the scripture says. And that we do have lots and lots of resources, but they have not released all of the resources. And you don't go kicking in somebody else's door in their house and demand their food and their drink and wear their clothes and pee on the people that's in that house. So why are they allowed to do that when they come to America? Because truth be told, and if they're honest with you, a lot of foreigners that come here, they are told before they even cross the borders that you don't mix with African Americans. You don't talk to them. You have no dealings with them. Oh, you can exploit them. You can put your hair salons and your hair beauty supplies in their communities. You can put your gas stations in their community, their convenience stores that say they have food in them, the food market that's not really food because the food is not food that's in those gas stations and convenience stores. It's all poison, like chips and cookies and cakes and no nutrition. And then what they'll do when they make it a drought in your community, then they'll give certain grants to other foreigners to come in and open up a grocery store because it's a food desert. But you can't hang with or mix with the black folk, the African Americans, the Negroes, the Neegies. Oh, you can't mix with them, but you can exploit them. You can raise the prices in their neighborhood, but you can't reinvest in their neighborhoods. And you know what? Because I know people that worked in those stores and the convenience stores, they came back and they told me a lot because I'm a journalist, because I'm cute and I'm a woman. Yes, I know it is what it is. And the same with you. Some of y'all know because they've aligned with you or because you have a relationship with them and they tell you stuff. So they were allowed to come into our neighborhoods. They are debriefed and told. And I've even had students at the University of Louisville. Remember, I'm an academic counselor. I'm a recruiter. I recruited and counseled and helped students I helped get them in college all the way up to medical and dental school and law school. I work with all those programs, with all these students. My dissertation is on how to retain college students in college. And then my key target was how to recruit, graduate, and retain African American men. But I work with all students from the entrance to matriculation, from recruitment to matriculation, all the way through graduation, and followed some of them afterwards on into graduate school and professional school like medicine, dentist, and law school. So I know what I'm talking about. Those students were debriefed not to hang around black folk, not to go in certain neighborhoods, not to cross the tracks over here, not to do this over there, and not to tell them the secrets that your classification is white. Even if your skin is dark, your classification is white. And people would get mad, like you're calling yourself a white person, but that's what they're allowed to do because white means you're a free person on the land. Black means you're dead and you're a slave. That's why they call us black. But we're waking up. We know we're not black. We know we're not Negroes. We know we're not colored because Walter Plecker and many other people in the Census Bureau, bless their hearts, changed our classification from Indian, Aboriginal, American to guess what? Colored, then Negro, then black, then Negro again, then black in the 1960s again. Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. And we hated that classification. We knew it meant you were a slave. We knew it means no standing in law. Has nothing to do with skin complexion. And then in the 1970s, they called us African American to further confuse us by calling us by two continents, Africa and America, and to further disinherit us from our land so we can keep running back to Africa. Then when you run to Africa, I don't care if you're Caucasian or African, you can't get no benefits. You're not going to buy up their land, their houses. You're not going to work in their government. You're not going to get food stamps. Their own students, their own citizens or sovereigns even don't get food stamps. You're not going to get Medicaid, food stamps, welfare, TANF, child care, low interest bearing loans. But you can't even buy a house in many of these other countries. And you know what? If you do, somebody can come and reclaim it because you're not from the land. But you can come here, be classified as white, even if you're dark, 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 and that's your standing in law, and get all these benefits. And I'm not even using it as an excuse, because what people that are called the original Americans have to do is stop playing the victim and stop. I know we have been victimized and mistreated, but you got to stop saying, oh, because this person did that to me and that person that I did that to me. Because if you woke up and actually listen to people tell you, like your mother and father and grandparents, that you are the original and you got Indian in your family, instead of believing what the enemy told you, being those who created the educational system, when they told you you were from Africa and your parents and family said you weren't, you got to start listening to your own family members and turn off that television, because the people like Alex Haley that created the Roots documentary that saying we all came from Africa, he was slewed by a European man named Harold Corlander, a Caucasian man who said Alex Haley, who was an an Aboriginal, so-called black man, stole my characters from my book called The African. Thank you so much for the blessing. Blessings, Dr. Kia and the amazing Soul Tribe. Thank you so much, I Carrie. Harold Corlander said Alex Haley stole or plagiarized the characters from his book called The African, and created that lie that his people came from slave ships. So we have to stop watching Hollywood movies. You can't blame somebody for what you turn on in your own house. You can, but then you just look like a fool. Well, the stories told me that I'm a slave. Well, the books told me I'm a slave. Even when the ancestors are speaking to you and the elders are speaking to you and saying otherwise. Well, somebody else told me I should hate and blame other people instead of waking up and taking care of myself. Now, we know that people have been mistreated and drugs was filtered into all of our communities. But you don't have to pick up the drug. You don't have to pick up the gun. Now, I understand psychology. I have a degree in psychology as well. I know that as you're told you're called a slave all of your life, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you start acting like a slave, walking like one, and you start acting like a drug addict and blah, blah, blah. That's why you need to turn off the television and the filthy music that's coming on the screen. And that's why we need to educate our children and stop whining and complaining. The school system did this. The teachers are racist. They won't let my children wear their locks. Oh my God, they're telling them that they're slaves. Oh, they're mistreating little Johnny. They won't acknowledge him when he waves his hand. Well, Kwame Kumjufu told you in the conspiracy to destroy the black boys in the 1970s that the education school system was against your little so-called black boys. Oh, Miss Andrea is a real thing. They hate my little black son. They put him on Ritalin. They put him. No, you allowed it to happen. Wake up and stop blaming everybody. Be the mother you're supposed to be. Train your children. Raise your children. Learn how to get along with your husband. Learn how to shut your mouth when it needs to be shut, and only open it when it needs to. And stop being so focused on yelling at, arguing at your husband, your child's father, and learn how to live in harmony. If you're a man, that's a lot of we know what a lot of y'all like to do is have a lot of women. Learn some self-control and focus on your family, and stop blaming white supremacy and the powers that be. Because when you turn over your children to the enemy gonna do what the enemy does, and that is treat your child like they the enemy. And then you're gonna sit here and cry on Facebook and social media and look like a fool. Because don't nobody care about you crying or marching down the street talking about Black Lives Matter and we shall Don't nobody care. Don't nobody want to hear all that. Learn what a lawful protest is. A lawful protest is a notarized document or statement articulating your grievance, and then you go through a certain process to get it taken care of. But a lot of us don't know what a lawful protest is, because Martin Luther King, Michael Luther, whatever his real last name is, told you that you're supposed to be marching in the streets talking about we should overcome, and drag your kids through the streets to get mauled down by dogs and water hosed. But a lawful protest has nothing to do with that. So President Trump is now expanding denaturalization. If you're from these countries that are third world, where they're in starving, and it hurts my heart. I love the Cuban people. I love the culture. I do salsa dancing. You know, there's a Cuban man I was very fond of. It breaks my heart, and I know his family, and I don't know what to do, but what I do know is President Trump said starving is going on there, homelessness, viruses, but that's the government of Cuba's job. And why everybody want to come here, not the Cubans per se, but why they want to come here in America, wave their flags, talk about our country, talk about our president, spit on our country, wave your own flag on our soil, say that our country is no good, but you wouldn't do that in your own country. You don't like America? Why don't you go home and make your country great again? How about that? Why don't you wave your flag in front of your president's face and march up and down your streets and cry and scream and holler and talk about, put your middle finger up at your president? You know what? You're so brave when you get on the soil of America, but you can't make your own country great again. Oh, and you can talk about our presidencies and our administrations and what our government is doing, but you take handouts from them and you talk about us and call us lazy and say we're doing the jobs that none of y'all would do. Y'all lazy black. Why don't you go to your own country and work hard to make your country great again? Okay? When President Trump said he gonna do something, baby, he's already done it. I have a grandson that is part something else. Granddaughter part Puerto Rican, grandson part Somalian. I'm from, my great great grandfather was from Colombia. I just recently learned his story as an adult, why he came here. You had a lot of political refugees here, but you know what? Hey, President Trump, he said he was going to go after the Somalians one day, and the next day ICE was knocking at their door. He's not playing. I am not in that battle, so I don't like the way sometimes I hear people talk about other nations, like about, oh, they dirt, they this, they, or, just, I don't know that they're all gang members, but I know it's a lot of, listen, I lived in the international community in Louisville, Kentucky, and I saw a lot of stuff like behind. So we had a lot of, so the people that were doing relatively well lived on our street. A couple streets behind, you saw people from third world countries that would come up dead, uh, were put in prison for selling drugs. I'm like, I thought they were just from third world countries. How do they know about selling drugs? How are they in gangs? But they were in gangs before they came here. That's so deep. So President Trump is going after the naturalized citizens. There are 26 million naturalized citizens, at least here in America. He's talking about stripping more than 200,000 citizens of their naturalization per month, and it's going to start immediately in January. People are terrorized. And so some people are saying you better self-deport because ICE will come a-knocking at your door. So that is what's happening. President Trump expanding denaturalization, but if there is a good side to that, is now they have the opportunity to work together. They got to come here in America, learn how we do. We get down when we gets down in America. We are the blueprint. Everybody wants to be in America, be an American, act like an American, because you know what? We don't take no crap. We're about our business. I don't care what skin complexion you are. Once you've been in America for a while, you get to see how we really get down, especially the autogenous people. We bought our stuff. We talk that ish. Our men are the blueprint. Everybody desires a brother. And I could be biased. They got swag. They cocky. They handsome, they fine. They got those genetics that, the chiseled cheeks, the big full lips, the eyes that pierce your soul, the hair that stand up like antenna. They walk like gods. They talk like gods. They smell good. They look good. They feel good. Like the brothers are awesome. The sisters, when they act right and they proper persons, are beautiful. Look how curvaceous they are. Gorgeous. The feminine ones know how to get along with their men. And the boss chicks, I mean, they got some of them are cocky, but they making that bread. They going to college. They're getting that education. There's some things we need to fix in our community, but everybody loves the original American. They want to walk like us, talk like us, be like us, play our music, eat our food, come be invited to the cookout. That's why the redhead, the gingers, were going crazy last year. Like, I found out I'm part black. Well, I knew that all my life. That means you'd at least 1/4 indigenous blood in you, or a Moorish blood in you. If you got, they was like, we've been mistreated because we had red hair and freckles all our lives, but now we're invited to the cookout. Now we found out we one of them. And if you're not an Aboriginal American, I know I better not read all these comments. Some people gonna get mad, but some people gonna be happy. Some people ain't gonna like this. But even if you're not original American, once you are on this soil, even like the people that own the businesses that don't look like me, they believe in time. And this is something a lot of us need to learn. They believe in being on time. They don't play games. You show up on time. They call it white people time, black people time. They show up on time. They go get it. They show up on time. A lot of them are disciplined, organized. They run these businesses. They making millions and billions or whatever. Like Americans get it out the mud. We walk differently. We talk differently. We have an air of confidence about us. We know we're great. We know we're the standard. We're the blueprint. Everybody wants to be like us. We don't do everything right. But what I'm saying is, now that people from all other nations have come to America and learn how we get down, that we don't take no ish, that we know we're great. All Americans know they're great. We all have an air of confidence, and some people will call it arrogance. I call it just being egocentric, because you have what they call main character energy. You the blueprint. Everybody wants to be like you. We have confidence. We show up on time. We believe in discipline. We believe in structure. We believe in order. We believe in education. We believe in marriage. We believe in being civilized. I'm talking about the Americans that's got it together, no matter what skin complexion you are. Everybody that came here to learn about how to do that, now you can go back to your country and make your country great again. That's a good thing. And you can receive the JASARA benefits that are coming to your country. The Global Economic Security and Reformation Act is coming to your country, but you have to be in your country to get it. Why would you want to be here in America and continue to take something that belongs to somebody else? You ought to thank God that you had the opportunity to even come and experience. I don't understand how people can come to America. You come from wherever country you come from, that's your reality. You grew up there. You were good. You come to America. God blessed you with the opportunity. And then when somebody suggests that you go back to your mama and your daddy and your own family, you would turn your back on your own people to continue to exploit the resources in somebody else's home. I don't understand, but I never lived that reality. So now you have the opportunity to go make your country great again. I think that's beautiful. And you can receive the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act benefits that's coming from your country. Thank you for the Cash App blessing at $ Mama Kia 13. Thank you for the hearts, family. Thank you for the energy. Thank you for listening. You know how they say, go off, pop off. I'm just talking my ish today, because it's time that people stop taking advantage of Americans. It's time that the government and politicians stop allowing people to come into our country and take the resources that belong to the Aboriginal people whose ancestors left them wealth. In other news, no, let me say this first while I'm still on. Not only will you be able to get JASARA benefits, but you're going to have Jubilee in your countries too. Every country, all over the world, they're having a Jubilee. Not only will you have a Jubilee where all the debts will be wiped away, and will you have all the benefits through. You look at my videos on the SARA. SARA is the same way. The Global Economic Security and Reformation Act. I might do a new video on that, where you're going to have a global peace. You're going to have the gold standard. In 2022, 85% of the global population had joined BRICS: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Now they're even more. In 2022, that only left 15% of the world population that hadn't joined BRICS, and decimating the dollar. Stop trading with the dollar. They peg their currencies to silver, gold, palladium, platinum, and other resources, oil, rare earth minerals, all over the world. So you're going to be able to enjoy the natural resources in your land and the rare earth minerals and the precious metals. Speaking of which, I forgot to tell you, you can get precious metals from your local dealer, or you can use our affiliate, Miles Franklin, at 952-929-7006, or send an email to info@milesfranklin.com. Let them know Dr. Kia Pruitt sent you, and you will get the most excellent prices, the best prices in the industry. But please don't sleep on going to your own local coin dealer. They can help you, because some of these online dealers could run out. They have run out of inventory before. They had to go to the wholesalers, and the wholesalers had run out of inventory because so many millionaires and billionaires 3 years ago were rushing to gold and silver. That's why King's World came out with an article that says the world is hurtling back to gold as money. So you'll be able to live off the fat of the land. African nations are kicking out European colonists. Look it up. When Vladimir Putin went and declared war on Ukraine, Biden put sanctions on him. Putin said, I don't care about you putting sanctions on me, saying I can't do business with all these other nations. I'll just use my own Russian ruble. I don't need the United States dollar. I don't need y'all for nothing. United States Incorporated. Biden. Vladimir Putin said, I'm going to use my own Russian ruble for trade. So in 2022, in the middle of the Ukraine war between Russia and Ukraine, the Russian ruble was the strongest performing currency in the world. Fact check me. Then Vladimir Putin went to the BRICS conference, Brazil, Russia, India, China, the whole coalition. Remember I said by 2022, 85% of the global population had joined BRICS. Then you had the Shanghai Corporation with the Asian nations. They all stopped trading with the dollar, which means that the dollar further devalued through Project Sandman, which was an agreement that when triggered, and Putin was that trigger, all 209 nations would start trading with the dollar and use their own currencies backed by precious metals and resources for trade. So by the time 22 popped off, when Russia went to war with Ukraine, Putin said, oh, Biden put sanctions on me. Ain't that cute? I'm going to use my own Russian ruble. And you know what? It's already backed by precious metals, and it's the strongest performing currency in the world. Now, please look it up. And then he went to the BRICS conference and said, all of y'all need to start using first the Russian ruble, because we got to be in alignment with each other. Then you need to use your own local currencies backed by the resources that are in your countries. That's what he said. And he said, I'll back you up militarily. And he's working with China. He was like, we going to work together. We got your back. So Africa, they would have first noted the France-controlled countries, Senegal, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger. Keep naming them, the ones that were controlled by France. They kicked out the colonists with Vladimir Putin's help. Vladimir Putin, he's with the stuff. He's with the, what they say, the S8. Oh, Putin is with the stuff. So you see, Vladimir Putin, Kim Jong-un as well from North Korea, and some of these other people that's from their republics, they had a problem with the United States Incorporated because they know that they weren't the real Americans running the country. That's why Putin does things like say, black folk need to learn their history, wake up. Jesus looked like y'all. That's why he opened up the vaults. Okay, that's why the Colombian president just said at the United Nations, just last month, he announced in front of the world that the so-called black races in the Americas are the original Aboriginal Americas. And it looked like it was like he just came out of nowhere in his statement. He was talking, saying, this is my last term anyway. I'm going to say what I got to say. That's the Colombian president. They don't hate America or the Americans or our republic. They hate and despise the people who usurped authority from the original Americans here and created their own constitution called the Constitution of the United States Incorporated. They hate them because they're bloodline families that some of them might look like us, but they ain't us. And they might call themselves American, but they ain't American. So Putin told the Africans even, kick them out your country. So when Burkina Faso, Niger, Senegal, all these French-controlled, colonized African nations kicked out France. They kicked out the military, said, we got our own military. The Africans then created their own payment system, POS. I report on that when they first did, or PAP, something like that. They created their own payment system. They started using their own currency. They said, we got our own military and we're backed by Putin and China. And then what happened in France? Their whole economy collapsed because no longer can they suck off the breast of the African nations that they colonized. So the French were some of the first to kick them out. And then some of the other African nations started kicking out the people that colonized them. What you think happening in America right now? I'll wait. President Trump expands denaturalization, stripping Americans, that's what they erroneously say, from their citizenship. Those people who were not born here, who became naturalized, are now getting stripped. He's kicking out all those nations of people that were allowed to come here and colonize America. 6, 7, 6, 7, 6, 7, 13. 13 is a powerful number to indigenous peoples. There was a saying that said, somebody just put up 6, 7. Let he who understand the number 13 receive peace, power, and prosperity. That's why they told you to be afraid of 13, because it has a very powerful meaning, very powerful symbolization. So Trump is doing the bidding of the Republic, and he's getting rid of, I can't say if it's fair, if it's nice, but you know what? A lot of our people have been so conditioned to think men have to act like women, and they have to be passive, and they have to be sweet and loving and nice. Nice isn't even y'all got to read books by like The Art of War, like 48 Laws of Power, like The Prince by Machiavelli and some of other Machiavelli's work. People that are in power are not nice. Nobody respects a nice man. Are you kidding me? We've been told men are supposed to cuddle. Oh, he needs to protect my emotions. Oh, he needs to hold me and make me feel safe. And he needs to, he needs to cuddle me. He needs to get along with me, and he needs to get along with my program. He needs to tell me he's sorry. And even when I act like a bad bee and I cuss him out, he needs to come to me, and he needs to, say, oh, I'm so sorry, baby, please come back. Oh, baby, come back. You can blame it all on me. I was wrong, and I just can't live without you. Doom, doom. Baby, come back. You know that song? That's the way women want men to act. You can blame it all on me. There is something that I just can't live. Doom, 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 doom. There is something, but I just can't live without you. That's what we're used to hearing. But a man stands 10 toes down, and he says what he means and means what he says, and he has authority and power. That's why God gave him bass in his voice. He was created for war. That's how men used to act when I was growing up. When a man would walk in the room, everybody would be silent. When I was growing up, we couldn't even listen. I respect, and I still revere. I have a healthy level. You can call it respect, reverence, fear. I don't give a care for men. When I was growing up, my granddaddy didn't even have to raise his voice. When he walked in the room, everybody straightened up. He was a man of few words. That's what I'm used to. I'm used to a man walking in a room and everybody just shutting up. Everybody just stopping whatever they're doing. We didn't look men in the eyes. We didn't talk about them. We didn't cuss them out. We didn't spit on them. We didn't put our finger in our head. In their head and tell them what to do. We didn't say, you're going to learn the power of a woman. I'm a woman. Hear me roar. We didn't do none of that. We had a healthy respect. But you know what? We've been conditioned that we're equal to men, that men have no power, that they're supposed to be wussies, that they're supposed to submit to us, that they're supposed to be sweet and pleasant and nice. And so now when a man comes in his authority and he says, I don't negotiate with terrorists, we get all offended. When a man says, if you're not American, you got to go, we get offended. People say he's not even American. We don't know who's underneath that mask, but we all do know he is the last president, and he is going to step down with the ship that's sinking. We were told that a long time ago. He going to do what he was called to do. He going to be the commander of the military, and or yeah, he's the military commander. He's going to take down the deep state as the last president, and then he's going to step down. And then he's going to disappear. Some people might say you know, he transitioned. Some people might say he went away. He going to disappear. I said it. Today is December the 23rd, 2025. I don't want anything, any harm, but he's going to step down because his job is done. So when a man steps up and say, I'm doing my job, you going to do what I say, or either you got to go, we get all wussified. And oh my God, that's so wrong. That's so bad. You need to be nice. That's not what men do. Men go to war. They were created for war. If men were nice, we wouldn't be protected. If men were nice and sweet and nurturing and pleasant, everybody would run all roughshod over us. And nobody would protect the women and the children. We gotta allow men to be men. Sit back and let a man be a man. My God, like it's sickening to me, and I'm a woman. I can't stand this one. And he think he's bad and he's a leader and I can live without a man. But yet you depend on the government. You work for the government. You got food stamps. You got welfare. You got Section 8 entitlement benefits. You laid down with somebody and made all these babies, but you don't need a man unless you horny or you ovulating. But you know what? Biology speaks. And that's why y'all got babies by married men. That's why you got babies by thugs. That's why you got babies by somebody you said is no good. Because when your biology said it was time to procreate, you got on your back. But then you get up, wipe your mouth, act like you ain't never done nothing, and then say, I don't need a man. But you'll go to Zaddy, the government. But when he corrects your behind and tap that behind and take away them benefits, all of a sudden you can't stand a man. But you let them pimp you and tell you you don't need a man and you bigger than a man, you a boss bee, you got the most education in the world because you allow the so-called man that you listen to, as us women, tell you through the television that you can be like Atlanta Housewives, that you can be like some of these women that are playing the war of the roles of horse. Have you ever noticed that in a lot of the popular shows, like these president shows, the black woman, the indigenous, autochthonous, copper color race woman is the bed wench or the side chick or the mistress or the hoe or the one that can't get enough sex? She's very rarely married. She's either popping off at the mouth, fighting, cussing, yelling, or having a bunch of babies by Ray, Pookie, or even the president. But he ain't marry her. You never notice that? And those are the shows that our women like to watch. And then when the husbands say, turn that off because I don't like it, you can't control me. You can't tell me what to do. When he's trying to protect your peace and his and the peace and the sanctity of his household. You ever notice the way the so-called black woman on a lot of these shows is showing all of their cleavage or their booties out or got the booty shorts on in some of these shows, but right next to her would be the soft, sweet, married European Caucasian woman. But she's the brass, crass, nasty mouth, disrespectful, obese woman, or if she does have a curvaceous body, she's showing all things all the way up to her vaginal spaces, or she's the one shaking her booty on TV. You ever notice that? And then when your mama or your daddy or your husband or your boyfriend say, don't act like that, you can't control me. I see them all on, these men trying to control me. We need to decenter. We need to, or we need to marry out. You think that a Caucasian man gonna put up with loud mouths and disrespect and popping off? Okay. Because the brothers accept more than every other man that I know. But go off, sis. Do you? Go ahead. Go ahead, be Portia and them on TV. Go ahead, be the Atlanta Housewives and not be married. And you will say you don't want to be married, but you the same one that said they ain't no good men. Well, if you don't want to be married, why you care about the men? Why you care if they're no good men or not? Yes, I'm going off today. I've been having a lot to say. I've been sweet. I've been doing my job. We need to all know Nasara's coming along. But if your mind's not right, you're going to waste the money. If your mind's not right, you're going to act a fool. If your mind's not right, you're not going to work with your husband. If your mind's not right, you're going to keep turning over your kids to the enemy. If your mind's not right, you're going to keep walking around with booty shorts. If your mind's not right, you're going to keep walking around showing all your vagina and all your breasts. If your mind's not right, you're going to keep walking around in bikinis because somebody else came on your land and told you that's what a woman's supposed to act like and dress like and look like. But meanwhile, you turning out these little boys walking around with thongs all up your behind on the beaches and all your breasts out and saying, oh, I'm wearing swimwear. You're not even in the water. Well, how come men can swim with shorts down to their knees, but you got to show all your breasts and your vagina and your butt crack in front of all these children and all the other men? Why don't you have enough self-respect and enough respect for another woman and another woman's husband that you can cover yourself? Why don't you care enough about your brothers that you would walk around like whores and thoughts and harlots and showing all your body parts, turning men on because you so free and you can do it? Why don't you care enough about that sister whose husband can't help but see what you doing while you're showing your whole behind? Why don't you care enough? But you know what? You act like you don't care, but you need some attention. And at night, you're online when in the daytime, you're running off at the mouth. But at night, you sleeping with her husband. How do we know? Because you came up pregnant with kids and you won't tell the children who their fathers was because it was Mr. Johnny's down the street. We need to help our brothers. We need to help the men. Everybody's visual, but people say men are more visual. So why am I walking on the beach showing all my behind and my vagina and my breasts? I have never worn a bikini, not because I'm so good or benevolent, because I was raised to cover my body. Imagine that. But y'all walking around like whores and thoughts, even on the beach, because somebody else came on your land and told you that was acceptable. Now, maybe it would have been acceptable if we weren't so sexualized, but y'all would do it in front of 3-year-old boys. Y'all would do it around prepubescent boys and boys that are just coming of age, and then and grown men who can't help it because when you walk around a man naked, his penis gets erected. Let's be real. We adults. You know what you're doing. You need some attention because you didn't have your father growing up at home, and I get it and I understand. Or because you had so many sexual partners, or maybe you've been exploited that you got a voracious appetite for it. And so now you want to turn on somebody else's man or somebody else's husband, and you don't want to take accountability for your part in getting yourself, allowing yourself to get pregnant. But you know what? Somebody has to correct you. Somebody has to make you feel uncomfortable. Somebody got to make you so mad that you put in the comment section that I'm against women. Somebody got to tell you to get some class. So Donald Trump is coming on here acting like a real brother, a real man. And people are saying, I'm not going to be with a black man. I'm going to decenter men and I'm not going to be with a man anymore. Or if I do, I'm going to. And you see these sisters online. Oh, you need the soft life. You need soft life because all black men are bad. And they're marry out. But you need a soft life. Be like me and marry out. And wear the wigs like me and get caviar. And I'm looking at some of these women like just 3 or 4 years ago, you just came out the projects. Because I know you. I saw you online begging people, how can I get a white man? How can I get a rich man to marry me? But some of y'all, marry who you want. I'm happy for you. Some of y'all are dum-dums. You think that man with money, with wealth, is going to leave all his wealth to you? No, baby, he has a trust. You don't know about a trust. You don't know how to protect your assets. You might not have been raised with families that taught you not to leave all your inheritance to somebody who is just trying to come up. But these men with money, oh, they know. And don't follow these entertainers. He had a prenuptial agreement, but it didn't mean nothing. He had a will, but she overrode the will. These people didn't have no wills and prenuptial agreements. These people got their stuff ironclad in a trust. A trust is something that protects your assets. You control the trust, but the trust controls and holds your assets. And the trust cannot be brought into court. It does not go through probate like a will. So if you want to trust, please go look for either a 503c1a trust or some type of common law irrevocable trust. You can contact your local asset protection person for a trust, or you can wait until the system completely turns over to the gold standard and get you a common law living business trust. Because when you go to your bank, when the wealth comes or you exchange your currencies, you all will have a wealth manager and a whole team, and they will help you create your trust. But if you want to create a trust right now, you can contact Chief Mac at unityemotion45@yahoo.com. UNITYINMOTION, unityemotion45@yahoo.com. Or you can go to your own asset protection person. So we interrupted our program just to give you that commercial break. And now let's get back to popping off. So it's time for us to stop allowing our homes to be destroyed. It's time for us to stop being disrespectful to our companions or the people that we're in covenant with. It's time for men to stop going online just bad mouthing women. Okay, I understand that you want to get the women in correction. Look, I'm a woman, and let me tell you something. I told my sons, the way I see American women acting, all these babies, listen, have babies with who you want, but please, I won't say what I be thinking. A lot of women who did not do a good job of keeping their body. See, I was raised when you were supposed to be chaste. I don't know how everybody else was raised. So I told my kids, I'm glad I got married as a virgin at 18 years old to somebody I grew up with, because I cannot relate to all this free sex, free dating culture. We were told that you're supposed to marry and court for marriage. So all this being, going women's trips and exploring and doing whatever you want and have as many sex partners as you want. Now that, we're grown, we can do what we want. Listen, I told my sons, don't bring nothing like that home to me, because I will go off on you, and I will tell her you're not welcome here. Yes, if she comes in here dressed like she's a whore, I'm going to make her uncomfortable. If she comes out here with a bunch of kids and expect me and you to take care of somebody, other men's children, first of all, I'm gonna wonder who these men are. Why she not with the father? Because that's I had all my kids. I'm not telling nobody else what to do by the father. So I don't have that mindset. You think you're gonna marry some of these rich men that y'all talking about? Y'all can only a man making six figure, only a rich man, only a man that's not black gonna be with me. He ain't fooling with you. Anyway, if you lucky, one or two of them will. God bless you. Don't bring them over here in my house. Don't do it. Don't bring no woman that's going to backtalk you into my house. Don't bring a disrespectful woman to my house. Don't bring a woman that don't know how to call me Mrs. or Doctor, or they can call me Mama. If she call me by her first name, I'm going to hurt her feelings. If she come in here disrespectfully dressed in front of me, I'm going to hurt her feelings after I hurt your feelings. If she come in here thinking that she's going to run roughshod over this family or extort my family, I'm going to hurt her feelings. And I'm going to teach you how to protect everything that you have. Because if you disrespect me and dishonor me by going out to marry some of these rough, disrespectful women that's all online telling all their business, showing everything, you disrespect me, then you won't be getting what's in the trust. Okay? So I don't know why more elders aren't like that. If we did our jobs as the elders and told our men, these are the women that you will marry, and told our women, this is the type of man that you will marry, and even arrange some of those marriages, then we wouldn't have the foolishness we have going on in our communities. And I'll digress. All I'm saying is the way some of us act is so unseemly because the elders can no longer speak out. Because when we elders speak like I'm speaking today, oh, you're a racist. Oh, you're against women. Oh, you hate women. You can call it what you want, but I command respect, integrity, honor, discipline, and order. That's what I demanded and commanded of my children. And if you come around me, that's the way you're going to act, or you won't be around me. I don't care how cute you are, how pretty you smell. I don't care what type of makeup you got on or what your bloodline look like. If you're not respectful, honorable, and disciplined, you're not welcome. And I have told people you're not welcome. And I've heard people say, oh, Mom, you're so sweet. You're not like my parents. You accept everybody. I said, obviously, you don't know me very well. I love everybody, but I won't accept everybody in my business or in my space or around my children. Women, start getting control of your children. Yes, choose their friends, choose what they eat, choose what they listen to, choose what they do, choose how they speak, how they walk, how they talk, how they sit, how they stand, control who they're with, participate in who they decide to marry. Don't let them go around here. When you let your daughters go off and go on all these trips as young women and sleep around, etc., all you're doing is making it hard for her to get married. I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if you think I hate women. I don't care if you think I need to get on board with the feminist movement. Men are the ones who choose a wife. The men do the choosing. So men decide what they desire. Men desire chaste women. Men desire women who keep their bodies. Men desire women who take care of their weight. Men desire women with feminine energy. Men desire women who don't look like somebody else at night and during the day. Men desire some woman who can get on his program. Men desire somebody that's agreeable. Men desire somebody that's friendly. Men desire somebody that didn't have a whole bunch of abortions. Because if you kill your own child in your womb and you're not a good steward of your own body and the person that you create in your womb, you won't be a good steward of his resources. I'm telling you what men desire. Now, you can act like you don't want that. You don't care. I don't care. Everybody's not supposed to get married. But if you desire marriage and if you desire that for your child, then teach them while they're in the womb how to behave. You should talk about the men. I'm not a man. I'll leave that up to the brothers. But from what I see, a lot of men they taking care of their business. They got jobs. They might not make the six figures that you want, but they got jobs. They taking on some of your children. And we want to, men abandon their family. Some of them do. And some of you run them away. But see, if you don't hear both sides of the argument, you don't know. Oh, he's abusive. Why? Because he told you that you're out of line? Because he told you shouldn't dress like that in the middle of the street? Because he told you to be respectful and honorable? And he shouldn't even have to tell you that because your mama should have told you that. Your daddy should have told you that. Your pastor, your priest. But you know what? We keep listening to people that make our ears tinkle. You know, they say they got itching ears. Well, you ain't got to listen to no man. You don't need no pastor. You don't need no covering. You don't need no priest. You don't need no husband. You ain't got to listen to nothing that a man say, nothing a man do. We decentering men. If a man ain't sending me a cash app, he can't talk to me. If a man ain't taking me out to dinner, spending $200, he ain't. Men are waking up and saying, you know what? I'm not spending anything. Because back in the day when you courted, you already were arranged or you married somebody in your neighborhood and didn't matter. They didn't have to make six figures. I showed you all the charts that showed that the average American make $52,000 and y'all sitting up on this blue app talking about the man got to make $200,000. So what else is going on? Gold is $4,525 an ounce. Silver is $72.08. When I bought silver in 2017, silver was $14 an ounce. When I went to talk to my coin dealer last week, silver had fallen from $67 to $64 an ounce, and now it's $72 per ounce. I bought silver in 2017 at $14 an ounce, and now it's $72 an ounce. That's what we mean by have your own bank. When you're focusing on wealth and wealth preservation and family banks and being the matriarch of your family instead of trying to be a whore, a thought, and a bad bee and a boss chick. When you care enough about your future generations, when you're trying to build up family wealth, you'll stop turning off gossip, because a lot of these people on these shows that are teaching women how to be mean and nasty, disrespectful, like Fight Club and all those shows that start coming out in the 80s and 90s. I think it was the 90s. Listen, all those people are paid actors that are paid to promote that type of violence and disrespect, to try to masculinize women. All of these entertainers that are men that are walking around in dresses and skirts are paid actors to walk around in pink. Not that pink is a defensive color, but a color that's historically associated women in dresses and heels and all that, so that you can effeminize your men and so that you will not respect the men around you. Turn off the television and start listening to things that's going to teach you how to be a woman that can nurture your children, teach you how to lead as a man, if that's your thing. Some people say they don't want a man to lead them, they want to lead together. However, find a program, find something. As a matter of fact, it's really sad that we have to look for books and music and movies to teach us anything, because that used to come from the elders. But they told us to put our elders in a nursing home, and then they got us so busy working that it's hard for us to take care of our nursing home, our elders. And they taught so many of us to cancel people, cancel culture. That came out through the media. Cancel them. If you don't like your mom, she hurt your feelings, cancel her. If your dad wasn't there, you don't know why he wasn't there. You don't know if he was sick. You don't know if he's emotionally ill. You don't know if he made some bad decisions, but now you don't know if he repented, because you just cancel him. You don't know why your mom gave you up for adoption. You just cancel him. Do you know that the Bible says that when somebody offends you, it is your job to go to that person and confront them so that you can give them the opportunity to ask for forgiveness? See, we know that other people are supposed to forgive us. But how many of us know that the scripture also put the accountability on you to go to the person that offended you and say, you've offended me, and this is how you offended me. You extend the olive branch to give them an opportunity to repent. But cancel culture would tell you don't have to do that because you too good. Everybody else got the problem. You make me mad, I cancel you. Social media has really not been a good thing for some of us when it comes to human relationships. Start learning about wealth and wealth preservation. Start teaching it to your children. My daughter did a podcast the other day about how to teach children. She's a psychologist and an educator. How to spend time with your child. Sing to your child in the womb. Read books to the child in the womb. Do flashcards when the child comes out of the womb. Sing to them, read to them, then have the child read to you. She talked about how you can grow children to fulfill their mission and their purpose. We need to get back to doing that. But some of us are so busy on the cell phone, on TV, on music, going out, spending money, that we don't even focus on the things that can help us be a stable family and community. If you get silver and gold, you can establish your own bank. So we used to have family banks. Everybody used to come to Big Mama when they needed money, or Grandpa. So I saw what that looked like. Excuse me. Let me get something to drink. The baby gets to know your video and receive your words and vibrations. Thank you. It stabilizes her nervous system. Oh. Elder bastard means suitable for marriage. Yeah, men need to become suitable for marriage if they're not. Men need to teach other men. They got rid of trade schools, how to build houses, how to do electricity, how to be plumbers. A lot of women look over those so-called blue-collar jobs, and they did that to our minds to make us think blue-collar jobs aren't bringing in enough income, but those men make good money. If you have silver, gold, even cash, you will be the family bank. When the family needs money, then matriarchs, you can be doing this. Patriarchs, you can be doing this. If you have a budget for a silver, gold, or some gold backs, gold RM notes, some of them you can buy for $4. Foreign currencies, you can buy those for a couple dollars. Put in the chat some of the foreign currencies that are cheap. You got the Venezuelan Bolivar, you got the Iraqi dinar, you've got the Vietnamese dong, other currencies. You got oh my God, Indonesian rupiah. You have lots of currencies, and you don't have to get the high notes, $1 million worth. You can get the lower denominations. You can get those currencies right now. And when those countries revalue their currencies, because they will, because they've been devalued through war and sanctions, they're going to revalue them. That's why countries have been, their central banks have been accumulating gold in record numbers over the last decade. You can have a bank right now, and when your family needs a loan or they need money, they can borrow from you. They can borrow from you. You can say, these are the rules. You need money. This is how much you can take out. I'm not going to charge you interest because it's really unconstitutional. But I'm not telling you how to run your constitution. You do what you want because it's your family and your family bank. But you can say that, look, you can take out a loan from the family, no interest, and this is how much I expect you to pay me back. So people would say, they've been telling me this all my life. You can't tell your children what to do. You can't. They're going to be grown. They're going to do their own thing. And I say, if you raise your children to accept and honor your name, number one, you will honor this name. You will honor your father's name. You will honor the family names, whether it's Pruitt, Lattimore, or Gomez. All of my family names. Marriage name is Lattimore. Pruitt's my daddy name. Gomez is my mom's maiden name because, again, I told you my lineage from my mother's side, the great grandfather came from Colombia. You honor the name. Your name is more precious than values, Ruby. You will not go out here and shame my name. You will not go out of here and disrespect the name. Not you won't disrespect your father's name. You will respect him at all costs. Even if you don't like something that he said or did, you will respect him at all costs. Even if we're not getting along, you respect him at all costs. And anybody that disrespects or dishonors your father, you let them know you will not dishonor my father, which my kids never allow that anyway. You will honor me as your mother. The scripture says, honor thy father and thy mother all the days of thy life, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. I raised my children to keep the 10 commandments and the principles of Ma'at, from which the 10 commandments allegedly came. Your name, you will honor my name. When I had children say, I'm not finishing college, I said, oh, yes, you will, because that's not your degree, that's mine. And there were people saying, you can't do that, watch me. Watch me. That's my degree. I don't give a care if you grown, you got my name. You gonna finish it. And some people say colleges don't matter. It don't matter to you, it matters to me. That's so that means you need to have values for your family. What are your family values? What is your mission statement? What is your purpose for being on this planet? What is your vision statement? Where do you see you going in the future, and where do you see your family going in the future? I told my children from the time they were in the womb and they came out, and I just spoke to my kids again today. I said, I thank God that I knew my vision and my mission in life. When I was growing up, I looked around me. I saw the strong, independent women that didn't need a man. They was on welfare, living in the projects, sleeping with somebody else's man, or having babies by Ray Ray, Pookie, Lulu, and Man Man. So I was like, as a child, I see the single baby mamas for, whatever reason. Maybe maybe the man left them. Maybe he was a bad choice. I don't know. Maybe they made mistakes, or maybe they were just foolish. I said, yeah, they're the ones struggling. And even the ones that were working, they were overworked and they were tired and exhausted. Then I looked at my grandma and everybody in her community, they were married. Now, I've been married and divorced and then back with my husband. So I've seen it all and experienced it all. So I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. I'm just telling you, when I got to experience what it was like living without a covering, I said, you know what? First of all, without a marital covering, but I still had pastors. So I always knew how to respect men. I was like, you know what? This old living by yourself, trying to be a boss chick, or just because I've never been a that kind of woman. I've always been respectful and honorable men and knew my place. I believe women have a place. So I just lived like that. But I was like, yeah, no, that don't work for me, because it's just struggling. That's not for me. And working hard. No, that's not for me. No, that my energy being, nope, going on driving on the highway, dealing with all this traffic. That's not for me. My soul, my energy is too precious, and dealing with going outside the house, working. Nope, not unless I'm working for my family business. That's just not for me. So I looked, and as a child, these women are struggling. These women are married. And even if they have marital issues, they don't talk about it in public. They don't disrespect their husbands. Their kids are in order. Yeah, they have businesses. This is my reality. So yeah, my family value was that you need to work together in covenant or in union, especially if you're deciding to have children. So as a child, I said, I will not be a baby mama. I will not have children out of wedlock. I will get married early so that I won't even be tempted to have sex before marriage. I'm going to get married. I'm going to marry somebody I grew up with. As a child, my own mother didn't even know that was my plan. I told my kids a story of having going out shopping with my mama and buying a white dress. And at the time I was growing up, it was like everybody was ready for graduation and proms. I didn't go to my prom. My mom was like, why won't you go to your prom? You should. That's what 16, 17-year-olds do. I said, no, because I'm not of the world. I don't want to be around that kind of music. I don't want to be around people that, I don't need to be dancing to celebrate that I'm going to graduate through college. I always knew I was going to graduate from high school. I always knew I was going to do that. Was just me. So the white dress that I bought, people were like, oh, she's probably going to wear that to the prom. Nope. I knew in my mind I was about to get married at 18, baby. I had a plan. I had a vision. I'm going to get married young. You're going to be by one man. All my kids going to be by this one man. Not because I thought I was better than everybody else, but because I saw how society treated women that had children by different men. I just saw that society was not ready for that, that they, to me, unfairly mistreated women that had, children by different men. And I was like, that's not fair. But because I know that in a court of public opinion, that means I'm fast. Oh, we didn't know being fast. That wasn't what we weren't gonna do that. So I got married early and I had my children by the same man. And I said, I'm going to keep my body. And even when we were separated and divorced, my kids didn't see me in and out of my house. My kids didn't see me date. My kids didn't, that stuff. Nope. I'm not going to be sleeping around. I'm just going to have to sacrifice. And it was a struggle because I was young. I'm not going to be out here laying around. I'm not going to do, all I'm saying is you have to know, you have to have a purpose. You have to have a plan. I looked around me, I saw how people were living their lives, and I said, that's not going to be me. That's going to be me. Mother dear, my grandmother, was a sweet, pleasant woman who loved and feared God, reverenced her husband, raised her children, helped raise her grandchildren and her greats and great grands, which is what I'm doing. And she was a pillar in the community. She was a great cook like I am. She went to the meat market. She cut up her meat. She washed it. She scaled her own fish. She did all that. She cooked from scratch. That's the woman I'm going to be. You have to have a plan, because if you don't have a plan for your life, somebody will have a plan for you. What is your mission? What direction is your life going in? Even if you had some misdirection, you can start right now with a mission for your life. Write it out. My mission is to raise the vibrations of the planet and to help individuals accumulate wealth and leave a legacy for their posterity. That's why I say at the end of my podcast, my name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I trust that I've said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. That can be a mission statement. Why are you here? What is the direction of your life? Write down a mission statement. This is my mission. This is why I'm here. This is what I'm going to do. Have a mission statement for yourself. Have a mission statement for your family. That's why men say they want somebody that's going to get on their program. Because if you're not in alignment with each other, you won't gel, and then there'll be confusion in front of the children. I know what I'm talking about. I live both sides. I've lived married. I've lived without my husband. It's just, people keep saying, I made it. I made it by myself. I don't need a man. I don't need his daddy. Ask your children how they feel. How do your children feel without the daddy? How do your children feel without their mother? Ask the children how they feel. I made it. Made it to where exactly? And at what cost did you make it? You see what I'm saying? We can become so individualized, so selfish. We want to cancel everybody out except for the ones that make our ears tingle. Learn about wealth management, about families, keeping your family intact. Learn how to have a mission for your life, a mission statement. What is your vision? Your vision statement should be the statement that says where you see yourself in your future. I will be an elegant lady that teaches wealth preservation and legacy. And I write it out and I live by it, and I make sure everything I do aligns with my mission and vision. You should do that for yourself and your family. If you focus on that, you won't have time to be out here playing patty cake and being indoctrinated by the powers that be. A lot of them control us because we don't have self-control. A lot of them discipline us because we don't have self-discipline. A lot of them have us creating their legacy because we don't have one. A lot of them have a mission for us because you don't have a mission or direction for your life. A lot of them have a purpose for us. Have us building up their empires and their wealth because we don't have a purpose for ourselves. We don't focus on, some of us, what we need to be focusing on. And a lot of people tell me I don't have money, but you will pay $125, $175, $200 to get a weave in your hair or to get on your makeup or your nails. And I'm not, hey, listen, I like me a good hairdo. I ain't playing. I'm not trying to front. But if you can afford $200 to get a weave in your hair, you can afford some foreign currency to leave a legacy for your children. You can't afford gold. Can you afford silver? Silver $70 an ounce, but when we first started talking about it, it was $14 an ounce, and at one time it dropped to $11, and for one day it dropped to $10.29, and that's when I got me some more. The scripture says that a righteous man, a good man, leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So gold is up $4,525. Silver is $72 an ounce. No, not the W word. I don't know what the W word was. I hope I didn't say anything offensive or wrong. Silver will go up. Many people say $100. Once it go up to 100, it's on and popping. That means that once it go up to 100, it won't stop. It'll keep going up. Silver right now is somewhere around 70 or 80 to 1, meaning it'll take 70 some ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold. But historically, silver is usually 30 to 1 when it's at its highest. But naturally, silver is 3 to 1. Economists say silver will outperform gold until it becomes 1 to 1. Meaning at some point, you could take 3 ounces of silver and buy 1 ounce of gold, or 1 ounce of silver and buy 1 ounce of gold. Why not? Either get gold and silver now, and if it's not in your budget, get some jewelry. Go to an estate sale. Go to a pawn shop. Go to an antique shop. They have silver for cheap. They have sterling silver, which is 92% silver. Silver bullion is 100%, 99 or 100% silver, but sterling silver is 92% silver. Constitutional silver, or those coins minted before 1964, is 90% silver. Gold backs is 24 karat gold pressed onto a note. It is legal tender in 46 states. You can now buy local goods and services at most places, or many places, with silver and gold. An estate sale, antique shop, pawn shop. You can even get foreign currencies at some pawn shops, at some coin dealer shops. I got a $100 trillion Zimbabwe Zim bond. And remember, that's a bond. At the top left-hand corner, it says this is a promise to pay the bearer upon demand, because Zimbabwe have already come out with gold. They've been talking about gold since 2018, when they said they were making treaties, peace deals with China to help them mine the gold in their country. They already came out with the ZIG note, the Zim gold. They already secretively are on paper on the gold standard, but not publicly. I bought a $100 trillion note for $1 about 3 years ago from my coin dealer, because they sell foreign currencies that they've gotten from estate sales. So some of these people that like to accumulate currencies because they travel to different countries, or they might have knew there would be a revaluation, or they just like them because they're pretty and they are very colorful. A lot of these different countries' currencies, when their children sell off their things in their estate, like the furniture, the collectibles, they often sell off the currencies for nothing, or little or nothing, or they'll give them away. So I bought a $100 trillion note for $1. That note today, if you got it from Banknote World, will be several hundreds of dollars, and some of them are $999 for one note. So instead of saying I can't do something, or you just talking, you shooting the breeze, or it's never going to happen, for those of you that don't believe it's going to happen, or you keep selling hopium, instead of saying what I can't do, or that sounds far off there, ask yourself, what if it happens? What if these currencies do revalue? Because it has happened. It happened in 1991 when the Kuwaiti dinar revalued in the dark. Well, speaking of the dark, we're going to talk about that. Put a pin in that. Kuwaiti revalued the Kuwaiti dinar in the dark. People were going to the banks making money. Ask yourself, instead of saying, I can't, ask yourself, how can I? If you have a few dollars, get some foreign currencies. Go get a couple coins. Get 1 coin a month. Do what you can if you desire to have a family bank. If you don't, you're going to be okay, because we all have an estate. If you were born in the United States or anywhere, and you were born in a hospital anywhere in the world, you have a birth certificate that was securitized, and it was created or turned into a bond, and it was exchanged on the It was traded on the stock exchanges. It accumulated interest, and that went into a trust for you. So you have a trust, and you will have access to that as soon as they flip the switch. When will they flip the switch? I don't know, but I do know that Pope Francis on December 24th, 2024, opened the 2025 Jubilee doors. He called it the 2025 Jubilee portals that he was opening. He opened about 5 of them. One of them he opened from a prison, December the 24th, 2024. Why did the Pope do that? Well, let's see. The Pope is the leader of the United States, or was the leader of the United States Incorporated. Remember, the United States Incorporated, a group of bloodline families, incorporated themselves in 1871 as a religious nonprofit organization in the state of Delaware with their own constitution called the Constitution of the United States of America. And they classified themselves as a nonprofit religious organization because the religion part comes in with the Pope being the head. So that gave him the authority to, one, open up those Jubilee portals, the 2025 Jubilee portals, and 2, it gave him the authority to create and write the letter called motu proprio and send it to Obama in 2014 when he said the United States Incorporated's time is up. He said President Obama is not the president of America, the Republic. He is the president of the corporation, the United States Incorporated. And all presidents are presidents of the corporation, is what he said. He said the president, the courts, the attorneys, the judges must all cease and desist and stand down. He said the policy enforcers or the police officers, they must stand down. He said most of the government agencies must stand down. The CIA, the FBI, all of them. In this letter called Motu Proprio, I've done many videos on it. I even leave you the article in the description section of those videos. It's over for us, he said in 2014, and we have to stand down, cease and desist. And if we don't, the Grand Army of the Republic, thank you for the gift, thank you for the blessing, the Grand Army of the Republic will be created. It will be led by General Ham, and he will take down the United States Incorporated. That's where the Department of Government Efficiency came from. That's why we have Doge. It was created to downsize the government. Pope Francis was letting everybody know their time was up. He did that in 2014. It was over for them. The takedown of the deep state happened before then, but he was giving everybody a clue, a hint. Props to the Moors, the Grand Sheikh of the Moors, Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey, for telling this on his in his dissertations and his conversations and lectures on the official house of, what's that channel called? Not Liberated Minds. Somebody put Dr. G's channel in the chat, please, where Dr. G, Dr. Naila Gillum, and Chief Sheikh Taj Tariq comes on and talks about the letter that he wrote to Obama. House of Reawakening Minds. Thank you so much, Jeff, Brother Jeff. So, I don't want to bore you. I've been on long enough. But he let everybody know that their time was up. So Pope Francis did that. He gave everybody, told them that the Grand Army of the Republic, many of you call them the White Hats of the military and the White Knights of Nasara now. Pope Francis said it was over for them. So if you look up police departments, you'll see police departments all over America are downsizing and closing their doors. Police have been asked to retire since 2020, and probably before then. 2020, I know, because that's when I started really looking into it. Police departments all over America are closing. Many police officers were told to retire, and the duties of the police departments are being rolled over into the sheriff department because our republic has been restored. And according to our republic, the enforcers of the law are not policy enforcers called police officers. That's a part of the deep state, but they are part of the republic. So the Department of Government Efficiency started downsizing the government once Trump came back. They really did it on their first administration, secretively, but officially and, where out in public, they created the Doge, or Department of Government Efficiency. And it's funny because they came out with the Doge coin before that. Y'all know that, right? We didn't know what that was about. But the government was downsized. You look at resignation.info, and it will show you a lot of political leaders all over the world, bankers, corporate leaders, CEOs. A lot of these people in power were forced to retire early or resign, or they were arrested. Resignation.info, that's singular. And if you look for it now, you can see a lot of judges are being arrested. A lot of attorneys are being arrested. Trump went off after the court system, actually, when he first came back, because the court system is against us. The attorneys attorney for you. They're not lawyers. They don't practice law. How do you practice law? Either you live lawfully, you align with the law, you teach the law, or you don't. You don't practice law. You live lawfully. So attorneys attorney for you. They consider us dead at sea under maritime law and admiralty law. They speak for you. You're considered a minority or a dead person, a minor that can't speak for yourself. That's why you're whispering in the court. Everybody's whispering. That's why they say all rise. That's why the judge wears all black, because he's performing a seance or a funeral. He's not a judge. He's an administrator of your trust. And each time he hauls you into court or into jail or whatever, they're accessing your trust. So attorneys have to step down. And this is why they're saying you don't have to pass the bar anymore to become a lawyer, because the bar is the British accredited registry. That means you work for the British Crown. When you pass the bar, you're working for the British Crown. You have a title of nobility called Esquire. And according to our Constitution, nobody with the title of nobility can create laws, because you don't work for the people, care for the people, do anything in the best interest of the people. You do whatever you have to do, and in the best interest of the British Crown, you pass the British accredited registry. So Trump has been saying for a while now he was going after the court system, and he's arresting judges and attorneys now, those that participated in crimes against humanity, which a lot of them have lawfully and knowingly, some of them knowingly, some of them unknowingly. That's one of the reasons why a lot of the people who are legislators or congressmen, conmen, and women, they're going to have to step down because they have titles of nobility. They know legalese, they speak in legalese. Most of them have so-called law degrees. So attorneys are being arrested, judges are being arrested. Many of them participate in crimes against humanity. And in 2024, a lot happened last year. 2024, Supreme Court of the United States overturned the Chevron Doctrine. The Chevron Doctrine gave the government unlimited powers. They overturned that, said the government has to be dismantled, because 442 agencies that called themselves government, housing, the HOAs included, the HOAs, they're like under 5 different departments. One of them is Department of something to deal with defense. One of them is the Department of Defense. So HOAs, FBI, CI, CPS, all those, there's 442. If you go to the Dr. Kia Pruitt show, look at my comment section, my post section, I list the link to the 442 government agencies. Last summer, the Supreme Court of the United States, it's happening. That's what the title of this is. They overturned the Chevron Doctrine, said all 442 agencies and the government, the United States Incorporated, are unlawful, treasonous, unconstitutional, and must be dismantled. That's why DOGE was created, the Department of Government Efficiency. The Department of Government Efficiency also found out that U.S. aid, all the money that was supposed to go to these foreign countries, 99% of it never made it to those countries to help them out. And the 1% that did go to those countries forced a lot of the people to get certain things that was a part of the depopulation plan. The certain things, take certain things. Sometimes you got to be careful. The wax, okay? That money was also sent to teach transgenderism and to teach feminism and to teach any type of propaganda that will confuse the people or destroy and decimate families. That's what the 1% of U.S. aid went to. DOGE found that money, the 99%, and confiscated it. That's why President Trump came up with Executive Order 138/18 that said any persons that committed crimes against humanity will be arrested and have their assets frozen, and that money will go back to we the people. Now, I said in 1991, the Kuwaiti dinar revalued in the dark. Y'all can look that up. They had a power outage. People were going to the bank, trading in their dinar once the war was over, and the dinar that had been decimated through war was reinstated back to its pre-war value. That's what a reinstatement is, or RI. They were in the dark because they were having blackouts in Kuwait. Now, it's interesting to me that California is right now going through blackout. Let's see. What do I have here? In 2025, over 594,000 California, I'm sorry. In 2025, over 594,000 California customers had their electricity turned out versus the 244,000 that had their electricity turned off in the prior year, 2024. Speaking of 2024, as I said, Pope Francis opened up the Jubilee portals in 2024, Christmas Eve. Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. Pay attention. Also on that same day, I'm just thinking of the 2024, Zero Hedge published an article. The same day Pope Francis opened up the Jubilee doors, published an article that said, we're going to have a debt jubilee in biblical proportions. Are you ready? The same day Pope Francis opened the 2025 Jubilee doors, he opened them up December 24th, 2024. So a year later, tomorrow, 2025 is about to end, about to wrap up. Maybe that's why silver is shooting through the roof. Maybe that's why silver is going to be sky high by the time January 1st comes. Maybe we will have a debt jubilee in 2025. I mean, Pope Francis, he's the one to open up the portals. That was some type of ritual. But what got me thinking about that was there were 244,000 customers in California that had their electricity off in 2024. And now the number's up to 594,000. Let's see. Iraq has said that al-Sudani has said that he wants to revalue his currency, the Iraqi dinar, before the first of the year 2026. This is the same man when he came in 2022 said, I'm going to do three things in my administration, because he said other administrations, they didn't care about the people. They were corrupt. He said, I'm going to end or fight against and completely annihilate endemic corruption. I'm going to work with other countries to return my stolen money, which he did, by the way. And I'm going to work with the Central Bank of Iraq to revalue my currency against the United States dollar. That was in 2022 when he came. Then he took to his platform and he said, everybody in Iraq must use the Iraqi dinar. If I find out you're using United States dollar, you bought it on the black market, I'm going to deal with you severely. I don't care if you're a businessman or you're doing it in your home. If you get it from the black market, I'm going to deal with you, and it's going to be severe. He said you have to trust in and have faith in your own currency. Then years later, he came back and he said, we're rebuilding the infrastructure in Iraq. I've spoken at length in my private group. If you go hit any of the join buttons on any of my videos, even this video or Dr. Kia Pruitt channel, just hit join. You'll see my private group where I talk about how he did return his stolen money, how he revalued the currency against the United States dollar. I even show you an article that one of our private members sent to me where he gave the rate. Now I just read the article. I don't give rates, I don't give dates, but I read the article where he gave the reinstated rate, not necessarily revalue rate, because the reinstated rate is the rate where you reinstate or return or reinstall your currency back to the value it was before war and before it was sanctioned. But the revaluation, you completely reassess the value based on the resources that your country has. So if you have rare earth minerals, you have oil, you have gold, palladium, platinum, you have any other resource, even land, you can back your currency up with that. That's what a revaluation is. So when they reinstate a country's currency back to a certain value, that's the value it was before war or sanction. Then you revalue it. You say, hey, we've returned our stolen money. We've gotten our gold. Remember all the gold that was returned? People saw countries repatriating their gold back from the Vatican, all the millions and billions of tons of gold that was returned. And you think about now you can unleash your gold mines. Even here in America, people are saying, oh, there's secret wealth that Trump's going to release. And that secret trust. What is that secret trust, that secret wealth? Well, there's a sovereign wealth fund that he created as soon as he came into power. The sovereign wealth fund is comprised of rare earth minerals, silver, gold, precious metals, land, tariffs, money, stocks, bonds, etc. That's the sovereign wealth fund that's going to go back to people, and plus the different gifts that countries gave us, including rare earth minerals, because we've done trade deals. That's the sovereign wealth fund. That is one thing that he created. But the secret wealth is not the sovereign wealth fund. That's the mines that are on these lands that the government would not allow people to mine on. They closed down the mines when they took us off the gold standard. They confiscated the land from the original people who owned it. You know what? Speaking of that, a lot of people are going to have to be compensated because some of us bought houses and we didn't have a right to do it because the banks lied to us. The original owners of the land will be given their allodial title back to them, and they're going to have their land returned back to them. And a lot of people that bought those homes or bought those lands or mined in certain areas, they're going to be upset because they're going to be told this land didn't belong to you. It belonged to this family and that family. And even Anna von Reitz, the sovereign judge, just came out and said that herself. A lot of people are going to be upset. They're going to have to turn over land titles that they were unlawfully given because it belonged to somebody else. She didn't say who the somebody else's were. But those people will be compensated. She said that. And we know that because things are going to be done fairly now. If you bought land and you were given a title that you weren't supposed to get, it's okay. If you have to turn it over to the original owners, whoever they are, you're going to be compensated according to the sovereign judge and according to law, you're supposed to be. So a lot of those mines, the government had a seal on them and said they cannot be released. But President Trump, the people are saying, some people in the know are saying, President Trump's going to release that, and that's going to be the secret trust and the secret wealth fund. Well, it's not really President Trump that's releasing it. It's the people that are pushing him, the people that, are telling him what to do. And when the Supreme Court of the United States overturned the Chevron doctrine, they said no longer can the government dictate what happens on somebody else's land. That's the secret wealth fund that's going to be released. Now they're going to open up mining on those lands. So get into it. I don't know how to tell you how to do that. You have to figure it out. How can I get mining stocks? How can I participate in mining? How can I, if and if you want to store up wealth for your families, you're going to be thinking about that. If my family owned the land, they own land where mines were, any land with food, any land, I need to go reclaim my deed. I don't know how to tell you how to do that. But the moment you make up your mind, you're going to do something, the universe conspires to assist you. Okay. So in California, they are having blackouts right now. And also they're having floods in San Francisco right now, power outages, and a bomb cyclone is coming on Christmas in California, according to reports. A bomb cyclone coming to California. Some people's calling that judgment. I don't know what it is, but it's flooding in certain parts of California. And remember, I told you those areas that were droughts, all those dams going to break, all that water is going to come flooding in. I don't know if it's righteously or not, but I've been saying, I got a video on my old channel that I created in 2018 that says somewhere in California, a well of water sprung from the soil and the lake just came out of nowhere. I'm going to repost that video, but it has music in the background that will give me some type of strike. So I'm going to have to take the music off. But some people saying that flooding is judgment. It could be, or it could be the deep state, or it could be that the water is being released. I don't know. I don't know why it's flooding going on in California, but I'm telling you. And I'm also telling you there's a power outage there. And some people are saying that a lot is going on in the world to take people's attention off of when they flip the switch. They're going to flip the switch to the financial system. And already behind the scenes, gold have been put forward to pay off the debt. Judge Anna von Reitz said that in 2022. And I talked about it when she said it in October of 2022. I have a video of it. I republished it and people get mad at me because it's an old video. How dare you put up an old video on your channel without telling us it's an old video? And I watched your video and I thought it was a new video. People get mad at the darndest things, And you need to tell people. I don't have to tell anybody anything. I ain't got to do nothing, okay? And I don't answer to anybody except for my ancestors and the Creator and my covering, okay? Okay? So, flooding is going on in California, blackouts, water, and that's about it. I think we've said everything that I need to say. ICE is meeting people in the schools, at the doors, businesses. Sometimes I'll be going to, like, I went to a Hispanic festival. I was like, shoot, if some people are here outside unlawfully, or if they illegal, I wouldn't be standing outside in the public, because people have gotten comfortable. And a lot of people that come to America, they just get comfortable. They talk about you any kind of way. They talk about your president and your government. They wave their own flag, and we just let them do that kind of stuff. No, I checks them. You ain't gonna talk about my president. I don't care if I like him or not. And I do happen to support a lot of his Trump's policies. You're not gonna talk about my president. You're not gonna talk about my country. You're not gonna talk about my land. You're not gonna call people in America lazy. You're not gonna talk about people that don't look like me. You're not gonna talk about people that look like me, because if you don't like America, you don't have to be here. That part. So in a nutshell, we talked about flooding and power outages in California, a bomb cyclone coming to California on Christmas Day. We talked about how President Trump is expanding denaturalization, and how people are saying he's stripping Americans of their citizenship. And I told you can't be an American and a citizen at the same time. Either you're sovereign, you're American, or you're a slave. Citizens are slaves. Chief Max says citizens sit and sin. We talked about how they're going through civil court, not criminal court, the Trump administration. We're talking about how people are saying Trump is terrorizing immigrants, but in fact, what he's doing is saying, if you are naturalized, you're still not an American. You have to go back home. People are saying he's trying to decide who's a citizen, who's not. No, that was defined in 1828. And even before that, that Americans are the indigenous Aboriginal people discovered by the Europeans that came here, but now applied to. Applied to doesn't make you American. It just means that's what you're called. Some people say that's identity theft, but I don't say either way. I just say what it is. Americans are the Aboriginal copper-colored races discovered here by Christopher Columbus, or by the Europeans. There could be another definition, and if there is, somebody please put it in the comment section. Obviously, it's not naturalization, because President Trump said if you're naturalized, you're not American, you have to go back to where you came from. How he gonna figure out where people came from? I don't know, but they're saying people need to self-deport because ICE is a coming. I'm only reporting the news that I heard and that I read. Trump is going after naturalized citizens or naturalized cases. There are 26 million here in our country, and he's talking about stripping 200,000 or more per day. People are terrified. They are saying they don't know what to do. They're trying to go through court. But ICE has come a knocking, and people are worried. And, they just don't want to go back home. It's none of my business. What's going on in somebody else's land. All I know is that a lot of them were allowed to come here, bring their gangs, traffic women, traffic children, bring their drugs. A lot of them, I'm not saying all of them, they took jobs that Americans could be doing. And some of them that will stay will probably keep those jobs, because some people say Americans don't want to do certain jobs. But Americans can get hired at the same jobs. Americans can do labor. They'll just have to pay them what they command or demand. People are saying it's not fair that they have to go back to Cuba because the starvation that's going on there is bad. Homelessness is on the rise. There was a virus case. The airport was shut down in Havana a couple of weeks ago. I do know people whose family members were sick there. It's really bad. People are saying it's bad in Haiti and Venezuela, all these places that Trump's saying they have to go back to, but he's shipping people back. Where they have homelessness, no food, and no virus. But that is according to governments and Trump administration. That's their government's job to handle and take care of those citizens. And there are some countries that are saying if they don't come there, they'll allow them into their country. But people have come here and they've had a good run. They had a good life. They got to make a whole lot of money and send it back to their countries and build up mansions and send money to feed, some of their family members. And they got to go and retire in their countries and live well. And they got to call us dummies and talk about us and call us lazy and talk about our presidents. And they got to vote and they got to, get food stamps, some of them, and welfare. And they got to get no interest or low interest bearing loans, and they got to not even speak English and still get medical degrees and law degrees and nursing degrees, and they got to buy up a whole lot of land, when not even graduating from college. Some of them could just show a mortgage person a transcript. They didn't even have to graduate from college, and they would get loans. And I know what I'm talking about because I knew mortgage brokers, and I worked at the university, and I saw and worked with undocumented students. I was real young. I didn't understand what an undocumented student was, but I came to understand that they got a lot of benefits that the average American didn't get, like food, housing, academic enrichment, help with all kind of stuff, and listen, we were this country has been liberal, and we supported everybody, and we gave them opportunity. We gave them food. They got to suck from the breast of somebody else's mama and to suck from the breast of the land. And you know what? I believe that everybody should live wherever they desire to live, but first you got to compensate people for what you have stolen from them. Yeah, how about that part? Because when you steal from somebody or take somebody knowingly or unknowingly, or you benefit from somebody and you leave those people who are supposed to get those benefits oppressed, you got to compensate for that. Even if you stole some or took something, or you got a benefit of something and it wasn't your fault, or it wasn't, you didn't decide that that's what you were supposed to do, you still have to compensate for that. But I don't know why people think they can just take and not give back. I was raised that even if you stole because you were hungry, they would tell you you have to pay restitution. Everybody in the world has been mistreated. Everybody in the world has been suppressed, oppressed, and taxed. So everybody in the world will be compensated. Thus saith the people in power, thus saith the Creator, thus saith Dr. Kia Pruitt. When you start walking in your power, you command things to happen. I command the money to be released. I command the wealth to be released. I command a jubilee to happen right now as we speak all across the land. I command joy. I command peace. I command love. I command restored homes. I command restored marriages and government agreements. I command children to be returned back to their families. I command prison doors where people who were unlawfully put in prison, who did not commit violent crimes, to be released. I command real rehabilitation to happen on these lands and everywhere else. I command all the treaties to be honored that were written and agreed upon by our ancestors and elders. I command all these things to happen right now in the name of the Creator, Source, my ancestors, the elders, the Great Spirit, and Dr. Kia Pruitt, and in the name of the Soul Tribe. Family, my name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. We are about to end and round up the Jubilee season of 2025. If you are with me, I encourage you to command these blessings, to command prosperity, to command global peace, to command love, to command all these things as we speak. Envision in your mind what that looks like and start to thank Source for what it's going to be like, and start to live, walk like, and act like it has already occurred in your reality, because it has recurred and it occurred in an alternate reality. Now you have to bring it in the reality into which you're living. Thank you, family, for joining me. Thank you for all the blessings. Thank you for the cash apps that you sent me. That's $ Mama Kia 13. Thank you for joining my private group. We're going to talk about some countries. On Saturday last week, we talked about some country that people aren't talking about, that has been a dynasty many times, that's on the rise, and how you can invest in that country. I hope, family, you've been encouraged. I appreciate you. I love you with all my soul. I adore you. I'm grateful for you. And I'm happy that we're here together. We all wanted to be here. And that's why we're here, to help usher in the sorrow, help usher in wealth, help usher in the global peace. We are here to raise the vibrations of the planet, family. So my name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. I trust that I've said something to raise your vibrations and inspire you to create the most amazing, magnificent life that you desire and deserve. Thank you, family, for sending me. I see $70 here in this chat. I didn't even see everybody that donated. I appreciate you. Thank you for the 667 thumbs up. Thank you for the over 700 people in the chat currently, and the numbers were going up. Thank you so much, family. I love you. This is our time. Know it. This is our time. Okay. We are wealthy. We are prosperous. Get you some foreign currencies, get you some silver and gold, get you some gold backs, go to your local coin dealer, see what they have. Anna Von Reitz has said that all of the banks are in alignment, but some people are saying that because of the silver shorts, banks, they might have some trouble. I don't know about that. The sovereign judge said the banks are in alignment and they are ready for the new system, no longer on the SWIFT system, but are on the new system. What I would do is I will leave enough if you have to in the bank to pay what I'm going to do, pay the bills, and then everything else I'll put in something else. So because if you don't hold it, you don't own it. You can put it in land, you can put it in your business, you can invest in your children, you can put that extra money if you have any in some gold backs for a couple dollars, and some silver, and some jewelry, some silverware, which is actually sterling silver, whatever. Go to an estate sale, go to a pawn shop, go to an antique shop, go to your local coin dealer, or call Miles Franklin at 952-929-706, or send him an email, Andy Scheckman, an email at info@milesfranklin.com. Let him know Dr. Kia Pruitt sent you, and you will get the best prices in the industry. I trust that you've enjoyed the podcast. I love that so many of you all were writing your thoughts in your comments. I probably won't read them all because I'm happy right now, and I might have really tick some people off, so just give me some grace and go back and listen to the videos that we did. We did one with Asir Duke of Tears and his lovely wife. Make sure you get you some products for your hair, skin, and nails with CordobaOrganics.com, CorDoba Organics, Organics.com, and you'll be happy you did too. But go ahead and look at his channel, Asir the Duke of Tears. Make sure you look at the House of Reawakening Minds. Look at Mark Z. He's a great person in this space to follow as it relates to the currencies. Also, Maria Nicole, she talks about what's going on in the currencies department. Chief Mack, he talks about it. He helps keep our vibrations high. If you want to get one of his trusts, go to email him at unityinmotion45.com. UNITYINMOTION.com. UnityInmotion45@yahoo.com. And only listen to music that raises your vibration. Only listen to and align yourself with people that raise your vibration. Write your mission statement, write your vision statement for yourself and your family member, and live by them. And I'll leave with that. Go out and make this a great evening. Sleep well. Safe travels in your dreams. And I'm going to see you on the other side. Because one day, Andy Scheckman of Miles Franklin said, this is one of his famous statements, you're going to go to sleep on a Sunday and wake up on a Monday morning to a whole new reality. Wouldn't it be nice if that was this Sunday? Merry Christmas. Happy winter solstice. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy winter festival. Good night. I love you. Mwah.